Hello, hello, and welcome to the show, everyone. And I am so excited to be able to steal her away for a short time today to be with us, and that is my dear friend, Jessica Dolphin. Jessica is just really an incredible woman. She's a psychic, spiritual wellness coach who works predominantly with female entrepreneurs in their businesses, and is the founder and CEO of Power of Three. And with that, I would love to welcome Jessica to the show. Hi, Jessica.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for having me, Kelly. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. So lots of stuff is going on. I want to answer the first question, first of all, because everyone always asks me, no joke, I get so many emails and texts about, why is your company called the Power of Three? And I'll tell you, because I believe that our past, our present, and our future to come, everything is connected. So when we decide to make positive choices and actively take part in what is going on in our life, that's when we all connect with the power of three. So I just wanted to get that out of the way right away, because I just opened my email box this morning and I already had 5 emails. Tell me why you called it Power of Three. Very, very memorable, but people are like, I don't understand why it's called the Power of Three. So that's why. So thanks for having me.
No, I love that. And thanks for explaining that, because I know that you love the words power and passion, or empower, passion, and purpose. So I actually always thought that's what the Power of Three was. So that's really great. So it's really the past, present, and future, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and power. I always talk about, like, you and I've had so many good conversations. That's why I love chatting with you, because it's so nice when you chat with other power females who are just as excited about growing people and increasing people's power in themselves and their beliefs in themselves. But that was one of the things why, when you're like, can we chat? And I'm like, I would love to chat with you, because I always say teach and preach, but I always teach and preach about our positive power three. So being, living our passion for sure, stepping up into our power, and then always finding we have power, we have passion, and then we have purpose. I think our purpose comes truly when we are living our passion, and then we're actually living on purpose, and we step into our power. They're all interchangeable, but that's what I love about speaking with you and speaking with other power females and people who are blossoming into what they truly can become. Because I think if we don't stand up as females and say, you know what, I'm here, I have power, I have passion, and I know that I'm finding my purpose, we can rule the world. I totally believe that.
Absolutely. And the ripples that you send out, just sort of being that way, is, being on purpose, and actually really embodying all of that, and being that purpose who is ultimately powerful, and in a very giving and loving way that really changes others around them. So including clients and family and community and ultimately the world. So I love that. Wonderful.
Well, I think there's something so interesting, because as you know from coaching, which is absolutely one of my purposes, and I absolutely love it. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female, but I think it's interesting because one of the things that I've really and this is what I love, Kelly, is that I've not only seen a shift in my clients this year, but I have to say I've also seen a huge shift in myself. Because as you know, as a high-level coach, when you start to help people around you, and they're having those aha, kind of those clicking moments where they're starting to get it.
Yes.
And we as coaches and them as students, and I always think I'm a student of life as well, but when we start to open ourselves up to what we call, and you'll know this, you'll identify with this, Kelly, leveling up. And not only demanding more of yourself, but giving yourself permission to truly step into your power, whether you're male or female. It's such a liberating thing. And what it does, and what I love about that, is that it kind of makes you reflect not only as a coach on yourself, but on everybody else around you. Because when we start to require more of ourselves, everybody else around us can either get on the train and start doing better for themselves, or they're going to fall off. And that's what we describe as shifting, right? So I love that by helping our clients, and I know you'll identify with this, we truly are helping ourselves, because I think you know, look at all of the clients that you've helped. Look at all the clients that I have helped. And it really is not just helping them in their business or in their personal life. It truly is giving them the tools to step up and to make those shifts. And that's what I love about coaching. But I think it's so important that when we level up, we ask everyone else around us, sometimes without even saying it, to level up as well.
Absolutely. And I love what you're saying there. It reminds me actually of John Maxwell in one of his many books, 360-degree leadership, right? Yes. Whereas, when you start to level up, I mean, you don't even have to say or do much. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be, in the org chart, a high level executive. Everyone has the ability to influence, and 360-degree leadership or influence, if you want to switch out the word, creating the ripples. A 12-year-old can be an amazing influence in a community, just by starting some sort of a volunteer program and just being the kid that's going to say no to bullying or whatever it is. So yes, I love, that's beautifully said, and it's exactly right. And aren't we blessed that we get to do what we do? And yes, I always say I am in constant evolution, constantly evolving. There's a whole team of coaches and therapists, mostly all good friends after many years in this biz. But if the coach isn't clean and solid and on good foundation, and by the way, life happens to us, like
absolutely
it happens. It I like to, and let me tell you, I've had plenty of that, and I know everyone has. So it's important that we stay in that constant evolution. I think you become extremely stagnant whether you're a coach or not a coach. Absolutely. When you get to that point of, I'm at this enlightened, I know everything. And, there are some spiritual snobs out there who,
yes, there are.
Recently, that's why I'm sort of picking on the spiritual gang, is where, they become kind of this arrogant spiritual guru, and forgot what their real mission and passion and purpose was actually to share that knowledge and live from that core, from that heart-centered core, and help to evolve others. So I always believe that, you're in trouble if you think you're there, because none of us is Jesus or Buddha or
I agree
or whatever, and even they, I think if they were all here, they would all say the same thing, constantly evolving. Yeah.
Well, when people say that they're a master of this, that makes me very nervous. Not because I feel like, well, maybe I don't know as much as them, but I don't think you can ever be a master of anything. And what I love here, I'll show you this. I have this with me all the time, whether I'm on calls, whether I'm coaching, no matter what I'm doing. It's my little thought journal. But every day, I love it when my clients challenge me. And even my 7-year-old daughter this morning on the way to school, we were riding along singing to Christmas carols. And I said, wow, look at that sunrise. Isn't it beautiful? And then she literally turned to me and said, Mommy, let's do gratitude. Let's talk about the 10 things that we're grateful for. Yes. And her and I have, and I'm not bragging, I'm very proud of her, but I think it's the little things that we need to start noticing more, being in the moment. But, one thing that her and I have been doing, and we're dropping them off on Thursday, her last day of school, is her school is doing a pack a knapsack for kids that are less fortunate. It's like the shoe boxes that you can do for charity.
Right.
And I told her, I said, okay, Nyla, whatever you would like to put into this knapsack, and it can be toys. It's supposed to be like school things, toys for a boy and a girl. So we're doing 2 knapsacks. But one of the things that I loved, she said to me, she goes, Mommy, I want to take whatever money you're going to spend on that, and I want to put in some of my allowance money. And so for real, this kid gave me $12. She counted it out in her loonies and toonies. She gave me $12 for the boy and $12 for the girl, not prompted by me. So it doesn't matter what amount of money we've spent on these knapsacks, but they're being donated on Thursday for underprivileged children. But what I love about that story is that if we can start challenging our own beliefs and being grateful and carrying that vibration of thankfulness for everything, it's going to, just like you said, trickle down to everybody around us. And I think, especially at Christmas, I think charity is a cloak that we choose to wear just once a year. And it was interesting to circle back to what we were talking about our clients and how we can do little things and big things to increase our vibration and our value of living. But she said to me, she goes, Mommy, I just want to help. And then she asked me, along with one of my clients last week, well, what are you doing to help? And I thought, if my 7-year-old can come up with that question, I'm actually going to blog about that later. And I think that is a valuable thing for us to think about. What are we doing to help? Because it's not only at Christmas time that we should be giving of ourselves back to everybody. And I know, Kelly, you'll totally identify with this, especially as leaders in our communities. It's so important to make sure that we're creating that culture of positive change.
Yes, absolutely. It is that is absolutely one of my big pieces of my purpose.
Yes, I know it is for you.
In everything that I do. And it's part of my value mission. So yes, absolutely. But you know, Jessica, I just sort of like still back about 6 sentences when you said value of living. I love that statement, your value of living.
Yes, and why that resonated with me, and I actually journaled about that last night, was because I'm always learning from any of my clients, whether they're my coaching clients or whether they're my spiritual clients, because I know and I believe that we are absolutely capable of changing everything.
Yes.
And this isn't about me, this is about everybody listening, but I've had a very, very difficult upbringing where I didn't have a lot of support and I didn't have a lot in general. There was at one point where if you're on my website and you hit the high vibers, there's a presentation you can look at. And no joke, Kelly, I had $1.36 to my name.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is in those challenging times, I think we really learn our self-integrity.
Yes.
And I think we challenge ourselves because it's very easy for anybody to go and be very, very negative and feel very stuck and to feel very hopeless and helpless.
Yes.
Or we can get purpose focused and really focus in on value of our own life. And I love that because it teaches us and reminds us that if we want to change anything, we can change it. Is it going to be scary? Yes. Is it going to be challenging? I sure hope so.
Yeah.
But running towards fear like you're on fire is one of the true things I believe in my soul that's going to set everybody free. So having value for your life, I think that's a good question for everybody listening today, is what are you valuing and are you placing your value in the right areas? Is another thing to be thinking about. But I've always said that, right? Like, are you valuing your life? And are we focusing on the right areas? I love that. If I was Oprah, that would be a aha moment.
Absolutely. And even if, I think you and I share so many things. I mean, I know like back a million years ago, I know I was in HR, you were in HR, like, we have very similar, really not great, stories and all of that, and have now arrived at this and continue to evolve and continue to arrive at new levels, is, continuing to look at the value of your life and what you value in your life. Actually, I think those are 2 different things, actually. What you perceive as the value of your life, and then what do you value in your life? And then looking into a new year in particular, what would you like to maybe refocus on, or what did you forget about? And maybe take, 20-minute coffee break and just do some pondering on that and some thinking and maybe some journaling, which I would love and suggest and invite you to do. But, even on a walk, just think about, like what would I like to change up, and maybe just work around that value statement. What is it that you value in life thus far, and what is it you'd maybe like to take a look at that you may want to bring into your life to add more value to your life?
Absolutely. And one of the things I really focus on a lot is what's your morning routine? Because I think that not only speaks volumes about your core, but it sets you up for your day, right? Like, one of the things I remember when I transitioned from my corporate HR job into my own company was something that I spent a lot of time thinking about and journaling about was, what do I actually want my morning routine to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that was so important was because I felt that when I was hustling around and bustling around and getting my baby at that time,
Yeah.
ready to be dropped off at a day home and driving somewhere, you know, almost an hour in each direction to somewhere where I didn't want to be, that didn't fit in with my values, that was completely just creating chaos in my bubble.
Yes.
Is that when I transitioned, one of the most important things to me was that I got up, and I know this sounds funny, but you might be able to identify with this. I made my bed.
Yeah.
I would get up, I would make my bed. It is beautiful. It has it's pretty girly. It has tons of pillows. It has a beautiful duvet. And it was important to me because I think if you can get up and you can actually make your bed, and it's something as little as making your bed, it not only sets the tone for a wonderful day, but it helps you to realize that if you can get up and do that every single day, creatures of habit that we are, you're on the road to success.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's the simple things, making time to actually wake up and have delicious coffee.
That's right.
Time to honor those rituals that we sometimes feel we don't have time to do. And I love what you said about, you know, even if you're on a lunch break, right? Taking that time to center, to go outside, to have those meaningful conversations. That's one of my taglines that I love. I'm always talking about have conversations that matter, right? How many times have we walked past maybe a family member or a coworker and, hey, how are you? Good. And they're not good, right? That's what I love about spiritual people and beings when we're awakened. We're going to tell you how we are, right? So you better be prepared for the answer, because if I'm not in the best headspace and in the best mood, I'm going to do the self-work to get there, but I'm going to share it with you and say, you know what? Maybe I do feel a bit tired today. Maybe I am a little cranky. Do you have anything you would recommend that maybe we should be doing, right?
No, absolutely. And I love that, you know, like taking the moments. I know I remember when my kids were little, you know, they're 25 and 26 now, but 27. It is, you know, getting them up at 5. Like I used to feel so much guilt, right? Getting them at 5 a.m. And like, you know, the drill sergeant, like, come on, we gotta go. I gotta be at my office at 7. Same thing, hour commute. But, you know, I remember even then, back then, I remember we always had fun in the car, right? It was just finding those precious moments to make the best of and make it be present in that moment, even though it's a crazy whirlwind, 5 a.m., 5:30 by the time you're in the car. You know, but we sang, like, I'll never forget that song, Rockin' Robin. And what's that Aerosmith song, Dude Looks Like a Lady? Like my kids thought those, like especially that song, they thought that was the most hilarious song. And they were just little, we sang it every morning on the way to school. I mean, I felt like I should have been like, you know, remember, what was her name? Andrea, the comedian. She wore the leopard suit on Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
And she was I felt like I should have a leopard suit and like that cigar. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm their mother, and we're listening to Dude Looks Like a Lady on the way to school. So what about it?
I love that.
Little happy moms, you know, which probably, you know, we know better. Like, I mean, everyone's dealing with something. But anyway, I just like that, just making those moments and setting the mindset for your kids also, or your partner, or your roommate, or your parents, or, you know, like, again, you have the opportunity to create the ripples. So I love that idea. I mean, morning rituals are, you know,
massive.
101 basic for me. I mean, you've got to have them. I mean, it's not really an option.
Correct. And I love what you said about, you know, creating those moments. And again, it goes back to being, of course, we've heard it 100 times. This is an interesting conversation. I love this, Kelly, because I think, you know, we're hitting the nail on the head where I think that we are so busy and so overscheduled and so over processing and processed and pulled in 9 million different directions that if we don't stop and take, you know, those times, just like you created with your kids in the car, and I'll bet you any money, Kelly, they'll probably remember that. They were like, remember those times I was mom?
Like, here I am, like now 53 years old, still full of guilt because I had to pull my kids out of bed at 5 a.m. They're like, oh my God, Mom, that was so fun. Remember we used to dance? And like, dancing's a big thing in my life, though. And my kids, and they both love to dance, thank God.
Love it.
But, you know, it's a big thing. So they actually have really fun memories around it. They don't remember the tired little kid getting out of bed at 5 a.m. to get to their day home, which was amazing, thank God. And but yeah, just that opportunity to, and even now, like I know I was just having a conversation with one of my clients who is visiting her sister, and she's sort of just can't believe what's going on in the house right now. It's a lot of stress, and they're trying to bake, but it's got to be perfect, right? Like every decoration has to be perfect. And the kids want to help do the baking, right? Decorate the cookies, and her sister won't let them because they won't be perfect. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a missed moment. I
call that the Wonder Woman syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Because we're taught to have everything perfect. And guess what? Life is messy. Life is not perfect. Life can sometimes look like a train wreck. And it's in those moments that you think, okay, this is what I always think. And I teach and preach this. I'm like, you know what? It could always be worse. And it really could, right? Like, my goodness, like let the kids decorate the cookies because we're going to be creating those memories.
Yes.
We're actually teaching them is to be present and to be in their body. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Life is not perfect.
No.
We can try to be as perfect as we want, but to be honest, it's kind of exhausting. The best that we can do is to create a culture and a vibration around us of always learning and love and compassion. Because I've always said, everything in this universe grows from love. Whether it's self-love, whether it's love of a colleague, whether it's love of your sister, your brother, it doesn't matter, right? And to have that compassion, I think is truly important too. So I love that story. That was a really good story. Yeah. So for all the moms out there, let your kids make the messy cookies.
Exactly.
You never know. They might end up on the show Nailed It, if you've ever seen that show.
Exactly. I saw you post on that. It was really great. But it's so true, right? And I know that I'm sure you, and for sure I know myself, I've definitely been in that everything must be perfect. Oh my God, everything's coming over. But honestly, I mean, I'm so not like that now. Everyone knows they come to my house for the company, not the food. Because it's just come here and let me love on you and make it your home and just, relax and let's have fun and let's have some good conversation that has meaning and that will create memories for everyone. Right?
I was just going to say that because Kelly, I'll tell you, that's what people will remember. They'll remember how lovely and how gracious you were in those amazing conversations. They're not going to remember if there's toys everywhere, if there's kids running around, if your house is what you would classify as dirty.
Yeah.
Because they're there because they want to be with you, right? Yeah, be present and be available for sure.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Well, I mean, oh my gosh, I know you and I were just like fuel to each other's flames. We could just continue on. And, and next time I'm back in Calgary, I'd really love for us to get together. That would be
absolutely
so fun.
Hands down, for sure.
Yes. And, but with that, I will draw us to a close because I always promise to keep this short and sweet. And
is it time already?
Yes, I know. Time flies, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. But before we go, do you mind just letting the listeners know where they could find you online?
Absolutely, and thank you for reminding me. For sure, anyone who is looking for coaching of any kind, or you're wanting to connect, you can check me out at www.psychicmediumjessica.com. And I'm always all over my social media spreading positivity. So that is Jessica Dolphin 3 on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Wonderful. And you definitely want to check out my Jessica, and she's always got amazing things going on social media and wisdom to share. So wonderful. And with that, I would love to ask you, Jessica, what do you do personally on a daily basis, whether it's crazy holiday time or not? What do you do on a daily basis to ignite yourself or reignite when you've kind of lost the plot?
Good question. I ask myself, number one, what I'm afraid of. Hands down. I think that's such a incredibly important question for all of us to ask ourselves. What are you afraid of? And what are you not shifting and why? And when I don't want to say bored, because as you know, Kelly, we're one and the same. We're always busy. We're always doing something. But when I start to get too comfortable, I start to think, okay, what can I give back? Can I give more? And how can I help more people? How can I be of service more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And in fact, you're the only second guest that I've had that spoke about the giving piece, because that is like, especially when I have a client who is really struggling, like either personally or professionally, or has a really big decision to make, like, should I sell this company, buy another one, whatever. I always say, okay, put that aside right now, and where can you give more?
Yes.
Because while you're doing that, it has like three folds. Of course you're giving and you're, leading by servant leadership, but you're getting so much back. Yes. And your subconscious is constantly working on, but now you've taken away the focus. I mean, the neuroscience behind what we call the euphoria effect, doing something like art or giving, where you take yourself right out of that container of this decision or this struggle you're in, and doing that. I love that. And I love, what was the first one again? It was so good. I should have written it down, actually.
Well, I always ask myself,
what are you afraid of?
Yes. Fear, right? It's face everything and rise, or face everything. I can't remember what the acronym is now, but I always face everything. Don't run. Yeah. You need to face your fears and rise. Face your fears and rise. Absolutely. Because I think we get complacent. Mm-hmm. I think we allow ourselves to become mediocre a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. And I think that we don't challenge ourselves enough, to be honest.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
I'm not here to be mediocre. I'm here to be the best version of myself possible.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Yes. Hallelujah. Happy holidays.
And everyone, I wish, would share that mindset. And I hope that they grow into sharing that mindset, because that is exactly what God, the universe, wants for us. And
absolutely.
And those that love you want for you. And go for it. And in that, you will be serving others, actually.
Absolutely.
It's not a selfish thing. So
not at all.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you, Jessica. And I know, see you soon.
Yes.
And with that, I will say goodbye to everyone for today. And please get out there and ignite and share those sparks with the world. And we will speak to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks.